This conference will now be recorded.
So, joining us today in the Virtual Visitor Center is Ron Wilson. He is a talent acquisition specialist for Interlake uh, Marine Services. That's not the first job he had with Interlake, and it's not the first job he had in his lifetime. So, Ron is going to be sharing some stories with us from his time and his career on board a variety of vessels. And he's going to tell us about some opportunities that exist on the Great Lakes for people who may be interested. So, with that, I want to start by asking Ron how you got interested in sailing as a career. And I understand you started very young.
Yeah, I started pretty young. I was about 12 when I was in Atlantic Highlands, New Jersey, um, and I just really just wanted to really just get some extra cash on the side and hang out with the boys at the mall and get skateboard parts and stuff like that. But we had a local marina down in Atlantic Highlands, New Jersey there, and I was just lucky enough just to walked down there on a Saturday afternoon, and they were cleaning up like the charter boats and stuff like that. And I asked one of the guys on the teal, well, they're teal cruises now, but on the teal,
And that's
hey,
that vessel we see on the screen, Ron?
yep, that's what you see there.
Okay.
That was actually my first boat that I've ever been on ever. So, but yeah, kind of asked him, hey, I could scrap some buckets, I could do whatever you need, and they gave me a shot, and that's kind of where it all started. With those guys there, started working my way up, even through there.
So, how did you
Being
start out, and what kind of jobs did you do as you worked your way up as a
so
young
like
boy?
yes. So I mean, on there, I kind of just started, waiting for the boat to come in, and then I would either just make sure the boat was like clean and stuff like that. But then after a while, they invited me to go out, for fishing trips, stuff like that. So, I learned how to net fish. I learned how to fillet the fish there and stuff like that. So it was really really fun, really fun.
And can you tell us about your next job after the teal?
Yeah. So Sea Streak, man, that was a good time. So when I turned 18, um, that's when things started to really happen. I started to realize I liked being on the water. Started to really to find like different avenues with C Street because being in going back and forth from Manhattan to New Jersey and just seeing the open world, just seeing where all these boats are coming from in the New York Harbor. I'm like, man, this is a pretty big world. So through there, I just kind of did my thing there for 8 years. I collected tickets. I bartended. I pretty much, I did it all, and it was a good time. But after that, I really wanted maybe a little bit more. I wanted to really further my career on the water. So I wanted to go to the Navy, and that didn't happen. I took all my tests. I wanted to be a CB, getting ready to swear in, and they promised me another job, and I said no. And then that's where I ended up with Italy. Um, yeah,
So, can you tell us a little bit about the connection between Sea Streak and Interlake?
yeah. So Mark W. Barker, our president, his brother James A. Barker is the president of C Street. And while all this was going on, James A. was say, hey, my brother's got some availability. I mean, if you really want to be on the water, have this to be a career, you know, he could help you out. I said, yeah, sure. I mean, I don't know anything about the Great Lakes, but um, why not? Let's give it a shot. Let's go for a dive here. And that's kind of like the correlation between the two there.
Now, next, I want to ask you to tell us a little bit about um, the different departments that are on the ship, because I understand you had to make a choice. So, can you start out and describe the work that goes on and like the hours for people working in the deck department on a Great Lakes ship?
Yeah, so the guys, working, well, you have, I guess, you have three departments: the deck, engine, galley.
Hmm.
For the deck guys, the, the anything unlicensed, ABs, OSs, that type stuff.
And
You know,
those are positions that most of our, and I was going to just ask Ron, those are like the OS, ordinary seaman, and AB, the able-bodied seaman. Those are positions our viewers would probably recognize as like deckhands.
yeah. So the OS is just like your entry level, ordinary seaman. Anyone could hop on and uh, start plugging away. As you work your way up and you get your sea time and things like that, you can apply for your AB license.
And then
Um,
what kind of work do mates do compared to being an ABS?
yeah, so maids they handle a lot of like the navigational things, and they do the unload procedures and the loading procedures. Pretty much anything involving the pilot house and like the fundamentals of the boat. The mates are in charge of that for sure.
Okay. And then
Yeah.
of course at the very top we have the captain.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. You got the old man there. Yep. Yeah, that's it. That's the tippy top right there.
And then can you tell us a little bit about the hierarchy and the work that goes on in the engine department?
Sure, sure. So you have in the engine room, so you have a chief engineer, which is pretty much like the captain of the engine room. You have a first assistant, second assistant, third assistant, a QMed, and a wiper. Um, and those jobs range. Everyone's all do. We're all doing the same thing, but we're have different responsibilities within that. The engine room and stuff like that. But yeah, it's as a wiper, that's a an ordinary, pretty much an ordinary seaman job, but just in the engine room. And as for conveyormen, they handle anything with the conveyor belt system. Um, so when it comes to changing rollers, greasing, anything like that, anything involving that like conveyor belt system, that's your go-to guy. So then your QLED, he's pretty much the equivalent to the AB, I would say, of like the engine room, because he has, they have to go to take a course for that, stuff like that. And then after that, you would work your way up to your thirds, and then get up to your seconds, so forth. So, yeah,
Okay. And then
yeah.
if any of our audience has watched the program we did a year or two ago with Sissy Paymont, you might recognize the importance of this particular department, and I'll let Ron tell us about it.
Oh yeah. I mean, look, if I wasn't on deck, this is where I would be, because I love movie, um, so yeah, you got your chief steward. They he or she, they do it all. It's probably one of the hardest jobs on the boat because you got to keep everyone happy. They'll do anything with ordering and stocking things and making sure everyone is just happy, having a good meal, putting their own menus together, and just really making the crew happy with their love for making food. So and
Now,
then
how important is the galley to morale on the ship?
oh, it's one of the most important things like ever. And I could just say, just for us here at Interlake, I have tried so many different types of food out here. Like I think So it was the first time I've ever had filet mignon. Was on one of our boats, and I was just, man, I'm still like, shocked about, that, when I first got into it. So okay.
And then what does that second cook do?
So
And
the
I'm
second
gonna
cook,
I'm gonna confess the second cook is usually my favorite.
yeah, because I'm a big cookie fan. So um, they so the second cook, they take care of, like, a lot of the desserts, breads. They make sure that, the milk isn't going sour in the cooler. Um, Dishes are involved, and there's, other, like, cleanliness of the galley and stuff like that. Is pretty much, the main thing with that too. So
And I understand that there are treats and cookies every day. Is that true?
every day, every day. Oh my goodness, yes, every day. Uh, there, like, usually, like, around, like, 10 o'clock. 10 o'clock break. The second cook would have, fresh cookies or fresh brownies ready to go. For when, we would come in, day working and stuff like that. And, have a cup of coffee and a nice, chocolate chip cookie. Yeah, you know, I'm
It
getting hungry.
sounds
I know.
it sounds like a nicer setup than what I have here at my house.
Yeah. I mean, look, listen out there. I mean, we're not easy bake oven out there. It's full deal. It's the real deal. So, but yeah,
Now, I already know that you chose to work in the deck department when you
yes.
transferred to the Great Lakes. Now, what made you choose that particular department?
So I chose that department because it was what I knew. And not that I wouldn't have gone into the engine room. It's just that, I don't know. There was something about being on deck that just made me like content with, like, with what I was doing. Um, and I love being outside. I love seeing things. I love, being out in the elements. As crazy as that, may sound, being in, like, -40, I love it. But yeah, I just really enjoyed the deck and enjoyed being on the move there.
And now I'm going to have you tell us
Yeah.
about your first ship and the
Oh,
day you arrived for that first ship and what your
oh,
expect. Well, let me back up just for a minute. Tell us a little bit about your expectations of the Great Lakes as a
so
Jersey boy.
so my expectation of the lake. Well, one, I didn't know anything about it. I knew, about Lake Superior. I knew about, like, Michigan and stuff like that, but I don't think I realized the actual magnitude of the lakes. When I was, getting a description, a light description on what it was. They were like, yeah, there's, these boats out there the size of this Empire State Building, and I'm like, there's no way. How's that even possible? Like, I look at the Empire State Building all the time when I was working at C Street, and I'm like, yeah, right. There's no way that there's a boat that size. But I mean, I've been wrong, and I was wrong this time.
And can you tell
Um,
us about that day, your first day in November when you showed up?
yeah. So I was super excited. And I was meeting the Oberstar in Detroit, down in the Fort, Rouge there, and I had no idea about anything. I mean, it seemed like I was just in the middle of this industrial area, and I told the cab driver, I told him where I wanted to go, and he was like, "Why do you want to go there?" I said, "Well, I'm meeting a boat, uh, the Oberstar. Have you heard of it?" He's like, "Well, no, I haven't heard of it, but but I'll take you to where you ask." And it's all right. So, we finally get there. He drops me off at the gate, and the security guard was like, "What do you do here? You don't see any deep. There's no boats here. What are you doing?" And I was like, "Well, I was told to come here. I'm here for work." And, they were like, you know, he said, "Well, let me get on the phone with someone because you're at the completely wrong end of where you're supposed to be. Um, and I was. So he had to figure out how to get me a ride over to the boat. And he wasn't too happy. I don't know why he wasn't too happy about it. So I was like, "Look, man, it's my first day. I don't know what to tell you. Like, I got nothing. I got my bags in my hand, and I'm pretty cold right now." So they finally got me a ride over to the boat, and literally, like my first sight of the Overstar, I was like, "What is this thing? I have never seen. Uh, I've never been next to or seen anything like the size of this thing." And I'm like, "Wait, like how did you guys get in here?" And the first what like seriously, I was thinking like how did you guys even like maneuver to get in here? And the whole time I'm looking at like marine traffic and things. I'm like, how did you guys do that? But so I, finally get to the ladder, you know, and I'm just in shock, and I'm looking at this thing. I'm like, oh my goodness. Um, and they put the ladder down, and there's oar pellets and stuff like that all over the dock there, and I'm kind of tripping and doing a little jig dance to get down to the ladder, and the
With
guys are
everybody watching.
yeah, they're like kind of chuck because I mean I've never stood on iron ore before. I don't know what that, what that was. So yeah, I'm kind of like tiptoeing down down to the ladder. I finally get on board, and I look down the deck, and I was like, what have I got myself into? I have no idea where I am. I have no idea who these people are. I have no idea about anything
And then this
except.
is your first live aboard boat, right?
I'm sorry.
This was your first live aboard vessel because the other ones were just
Yeah,
commuter ferries, right?
yeah, and I mean, I had so many questions too. I'm like, well, where do you guys live? Like, what do we eat? Uh, do we order pizza at the end of the night? Like, what do we do? Like, so, yeah, there was a whole list of like silly questions that I had. But just looking down the deck for the first time, I was just like I was in shock. I was like, wow, like, I can't believe I'm actually here doing this. I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm doing it.
And you're going to do it well.
Right, right. And I'm like, yeah, all right, cool. So, one of the wheelsmen at the time, he brought me up to see the captain. So I had to get signed in and things like that. And it was one of our retired captains. Uh, his name was Joe Rush, and he welcomed me aboard. And one of the first things that he said, he told me, he's like, just watch your fingers, Ron. That's it. Just watch your fingers, watch those pinch points, and I'm gonna hand you over to our bosun, senior bosun, was Sean Robertson at the time, and we're like, all right, well, we're greasing hatches. Put your bags down. We're gonna get cracking here. So and the reason why we have to like grease the hatches is so they don't freeze due to like ice and things like that. So we could pull the lids off uh, accordingly. So yeah, then I just hopped right to it.
Now, you started out, I understand, as a relief ordinary seaman, correct?
Right.
And were you starting at the best time of year to start?
No,
In
well, no, I mean, no, not at all. I definitely got the intro of like just cold, and I mean, at that time, it's like a lot of the guys are tired, they're ready to lay up, they're excited to go home. Look, I was just there for the ride, and I was just ready to do anything that you guys told me to do, whatever it was. But no, it wasn't the best time, but it conditioned me to like be ready for really anything. So that was nice for sure.
now, did you have everything you needed packed, or were there some surprises that you learned on that first trip?
Yeah, for the most part, I think I had everything that I thought I needed. I really, I was told to, pretty much dress like like you're at a construction site. Um, and I mean, I had, some nice boots on. I, had a nice jacket, brand new. I mean, and you could, yeah. I mean, the Carhartt zipper was still like, brass. It was, yeah. So
How
yeah,
long did that stay clean and new?
it didn't stay clean for that long. I'll tell you what. Uh, but yeah, it felt like, the first day of school. You're in your nice clothes and stuff like that. But it was, but no,
No, and so how did that ordering pizzas thing work out?
that didn't work out too good, honestly, because like I said before, prior to that, I just thought that it was just, we just ordered pizza or like we did whatever for like
That you
dinner
were
and
on
stuff.
your own for food?
Yeah, and then I go down to the galley and they're giving me like a full tour, and I'm like, wait, this is like a full like Michelin star like kitchen here. Like this is a whole operation. What's going on? And so they're showing me they're opening up the coolers of like ice cream, and there's just all the food that you can absolutely eat. Like there's just everything, and really like that galley crew, like the whole galley department is just outstanding. Um, and they really care about the crew and
And you
things
told
like
me earlier you were shocked that you didn't have to pay for the food.
I was getting ready to, I was getting ready to like swipe a card somewhere, or, something. I kid you not. I went down to the galley with, my wallet, and really, they were just like, "What are you doing? You don't, you just take, it's fine." I said, "All right," you know. But yeah. So it was definitely
Now,
awesome.
I have a generic kind of picture of a crew picture up there right now, but I wanted to ask if there were some particular crew members on that first ship and other ships that you worked on that really helped you adapt and adjust to living and working on board.
Yeah. Um, in particular, so um, definitely Sean Robertson. My first bosun. He definitely broke it down, and was patient with me, especially at the end of the year like that, to bring on a new guy. You know, knows things about boats, but doesn't know about this particular boat. Very very patient. So definitely happy to have him. Um, and everyone that I've literally worked with and I've come in contact with, it's a family. There's even in the picture here, Freddie Olshavy. Um, you know, we have a joke. He's I've been following him around the whole like my whole career, and I actually we've been on every boat together. Um, and it's just we really have a really tight, close knit family, oriented like bond, pretty much with everyone that I've worked with and sailed with. So really,
So we have a picture of you here doing something deckhands do. Could you
oh
tell
yeah,
us just like what kind of hours do you work as a deckhand? Do you get days off?
yeah. So typically, well, let me answer the like I guess the schedule. So the schedule it all differs. I mean, you do what the boat does pretty much. So if a boat is making a dock at 4 a.m., guess what you're gonna do? You're gonna get up and get the boat ready, get the cables right, and wait to get to the dock, get all tied up. But typically, if you're day working, you have an 8 hour an 8 hour day. Um, and that starts at
What do you mean by day working? Who does day working?
yeah. So typically, like the the OSs, AVs, not including the wheelsmen because the wheelsmen are on like a 4 on 8 off rotation schedule. Um, but yeah, so like pretty much anyone else like on the unlicensed side, like deck wise, is either day working if if you're not making a dock that day or stuff like that. Yeah, you do. You'll put in a 8 hour day doing you know general things. Whether it be you'll be painting one day. You'll be just getting the boat ready maintenance wise for the next dock. Prepping things. So I mean, the list goes on. I mean, you're busy. So yeah,
And then you started out as an ordinary seaman and you became an able-bodied seaman. We have a picture here of you holding that
yeah,
certification. And can you tell us how you transitioned from that? Tests,
yeah,
time in, what do you have to
yeah,
do to make it to the ABS?
yeah. So man, I mean, honestly, that getting my AB was like, I mean, I haven't graduated from like Yale or Harvard, but like for me, that was like, I could probably put that feeling to that. Like I was so happy to get that, because I wanted it, and I really I wanted to do more because I love the job and I love doing what I do, and I wanted to do more with it, and I was just so happy to get that.
So can you
And
tell us
what
how you got it?
Yeah, so what you need for that, you need sea time for that. So you need an X amount of days, sailing days, um, and then you also need to take a test. My particular test was at the Great Lake Maritime Academy, and that was a great program that they had. It was a 2 week course. First week was like lifeboat and stuff like that. They went over the lifeboat, certain safety protocols, precautions, stuff like that. And then the second week was typically rules of the road and uh, how to signify like lights and things like that that would you definitely need to know. Being an AV. Um, and obviously there's knots in there. There's knots involved. You had to learn how to do some knots. You can't tying your shoes ain't good enough. You got to do a little bit more. But yeah, so yeah, it was so that was to me that was a bit of a challenge because I'm not much of a like a test person or anything like that. So that was a big accomplishment, and I'm very proud of that for sure.
So how did your responsibilities and your kind of perks change from being an ordinary seaman to when you qualified as an able-bodied seaman?
Yeah, so pretty much like the like my responsibilities for sure. Like you're definitely more like responsible for things. So like I don't know if you could see like in the picture there, but like a lot of the AVs, we take care of those wired cables. Running winches. You're in charge of like doing anchor operations. Pretty much anything involving the deck on like a particular like level of like expertise and experience. Like you're doing it, for sure, for sure.
And then does that qualification come with a pay raise?
Yes, it sure does. It sure does. Oh yeah, big time, big time. I was very happy about that too.
Oops, I skipped a slide here. Um, so earlier you told me that the Masabi Miner was one of your two favorite ships.
Yes.
Can you
What?
tell
Yes.
us what made the Masabi Miner special for you?
Because it was home. it was home. It was just home. I was on there, for quite a bit, and the guys that were already on that boat, um, they really brought me in open arms, and I think on that boat that's when I really started to get like that family feel, you know, uh, and yeah, so like that was like one of my favorites right there. Yeah, I just and the thing is too is like it was also actually my second 1,000 footer because the quart was my first 1,000 foot, but that was my first like three belt system, and that was such a learning curve too, to like
Can you
learn
tell
how to
us
like
what you mean by a three belt system?
yeah. So in the cargo holds, there's three separate belts that feed into one like one loop. We call it a loop, but it's pretty much like two. Um, Let me back up here. So there's three. So you have three belts, and those three belts connect to the center belt. So you have a port belt, starboard belt, and then a center belt. And in the middle, we call it the hopper. Um, Port and starboard, the cargo from there flows into the hopper, and it just pushes everything up, and it like kind of like presses. Like there's two belts, and they press up against each other, and it goes all the way up like the almost like where you see the house is,
Hmm.
um, and it puts it on the boom there. So I mean that's typically like the like how like a lot of the other boats are, but just not three belt. Just they're
Okay.
single belt. And that was pretty unique and a learning curve too, because they like learn how to like unload that because everyone has to be in sync. You have to be synchronized, and so
It
that was
sounds
that
a
was
little more challenging.
yeah, it was challenging, and I definitely got a lot of good experience from that boat. That boat was such a good platform to get some experience on. Um, so yeah, for sure, for sure.
And of course, your other favorite that you told us about.
Oh yes, oh yeah, oh yeah. This was like when I got the opportunity to, you know, even the idea to go to the Mark W. Barker, I was all over it. Because I said to myself like, how cool is this? Like how awesome is would this be if like all of my years of being on the water and going to different boats where things have already been done to go somewhere where nothing's been done before, and you have to figure it out, and then you have to really use your experience and your expertise on how to navigate not only the lakes but that boat. You have to really get used to it, um, and really to like put those skills to put like all my skills that I learned throughout the years and kind of like hybrid do whatever on the it was so awesome.
Well, I would
That
say I would imagine another challenge with the Mark W. Barker is unlike when you reported for the Oberstar or the Masabi Minor, there was nobody on board who had already done it and run the boat and could train you, right?
right,
So
exactly. We
it
had
was
to
new to
train
everybody.
right. We had to train ourselves, and honestly too, and like there's no other shade. There's no shade on other boats, but like if you have to picture like this is like the iPod of boats, like this is like versus like a cassette player, and I was just so happy to be on there to be on the Maiden voyage and stuff like that, just to be a part of that. That was like
So
I feel like my magnum opus. That's so yeah, I
well,
love it.
and one difference too is you had pointed out when we were talking about this earlier, there was no ship log to refer to.
No.
You
You
were
have to.
creating it.
Yeah, you have to make it. You have to make it. And even like those guys that are on there right now, man, like those guys are like kicking ass. And, like that's so awesome. Yeah. Yeah, I'm definitely proud of them for holding it down. Man, no, definitely awesome.
And then
Check
I
it out.
understand you're a plank owner for the Mark W. Barker. Can you tell
Yeah,
us what that means to be a plank owner?
yeah. So so that was given to me at the christening there. I believe the U.S. Coast Guard, they had started that you know for like new builds and things like that. Like the first crew to be on the maiden voyage would get a plank owner's certificate, and that was a really nice gift that Interlake gave me for that. So that's that. I mean, I don't know a lot of people with plank owners, but like that's
I think it's
definitely in
pretty
my heart.
rare.
Yeah. So it's definitely an achievement, for sure. So I definitely thank you for guys for that. Appreciate it.
Now, a little birdie told me um,
Uh,
that you didn't really want to take a job on shore, that you really wanted to stay on the boats, and they had to, they recognized your talent and your potential, and you had to be talked into leaving the ship.
look,
Is that
well,
correct?
yes. I mean, yeah, yeah, and also, I had, at the time of, them, at, I was, I, I had some, some challenging, family things going on at times too, and um, that I need to be home for, and I had to, put all that, uh,
Well,
put
and
all that
and
aside.
after the whole challenge of first crew and plank owner on the Mark W. Barker, I'm betting you were also looking for a new challenge.
Yeah. It really was. And now too, I love doing this. I love doing, talent acquisition. I mean, I would love to, be on on the mark with, all the boys and girls over there. But, this is fun now, you know.
So,
I'm sorry.
before we go into describing a little bit about your current job, can you tell us a little bit about what you really miss from working on the boats? I know that being home with your family and your beautiful little daughter and wife has got to be a huge advantage, but what do you still miss a little bit?
I Man, I miss just I miss those those sunsets, those sunrises. I miss just you to be honest with you, I miss getting up at 3 a.m. to rinse a tunnel, and I miss you know being down in the galley and sitting in in my assigned seat that I assigned myself, obviously, but but just in being with the the guys and girls out there, and it's like leaving a second family. I
And
just I miss all that stuff too. Yeah.
for me personally, I would probably miss the 10 o'clock cookies.
Yeah. I miss the food. I miss the
Is that
food. I miss
that's
the
a
food.
big demand to make on your wife?
Yeah, I miss the food. Listen, my wife. Look, my wife. She could throw it down. But I definitely do miss the food there, for sure. And like the little request that I could make on I could wings and pizza on Sunday and stuff like that. Like that is so like yeah. So but yeah, I miss that stuff, and really just being out there.
And can you tell us a bit about what you do now in your new job?
Yeah, so I recruit. And I go out and I to different academies and I seek talent. Really anywhere, everywhere. Um, and it's definitely fun. Definitely fun. I'm definitely having a really really good time with it. Um, and I think the reason that I am is because I see myself and a lot of people that I talk to. I see myself like when I was like younger, not knowing what I wanted to do. Just I know I need to do something. I knew I wanted to be successful in something, um, and I'm just happy now that I could share what I love with others. Like I can give you that platform, give you that opportunity to really embrace your own greatness, and I'm just happy about that. I
And do
love,
you
I
let
love
them all know that the food is free?
yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, definitely.
And that
Yeah, I
walking on
still have
taconite is
pictures.
tricky?
I mean, if you look through my phone right now, I have pictures of my meals that I would eat. Like yeah, it was yeah, because like what do they say? Like the, the camera eats first. Like every time, like I would be the camera eats first. Yeah,
And I presume you warned any potential new sailors that it's tricky to walk on taconite.
yeah. Oh yeah, more most definitely. You gotta really you kind of do like you gotta plant your feet and kind of shuffle your feet back and forth to really get the concrete there. Yeah, you gotta be careful.
And can you tell us a little bit about some current vacancies that are available on Interlake Steamship and when you expect to have, kind of a big move for hiring?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, we're pretty much open to entry level positions, wiper, um, uh, OS positions, also even licensed positions too. So like mates and well, not licensed but AVs and engineers. So I mean, we're really open to pretty much everything.
And
Anything.
for our audience, we will be posting a link to the page on Interlake where you can look for information about vacancies and how to apply. And it's a little repetitive, but can you tell us again a little bit about like what is the schedule if you're a deckhand on board ship? How long are you going to be on board?
Yeah, so pretty much so here like so we don't have like a set schedule. So you're as a when you first come aboard, you're relief. So you kind of go where go to different boats as needed. You might spend one month on a one boat and another month on another boat. You kind of just um, go you're on the opposite schedule of like the permanent guy that you're relieving. Um, so you could be out there for 60 days. If you wanted to, you could really work as much as you want. I mean, we have definitely have the spot for you, and that's something you want to do. You could stay out for 90 if you want to. You could really do whatever. I mean, really, whatever you like to do. But typically, we just don't have a set schedule. Um,
Now, when you get to your permanent vessel, like
yeah.
when you're no longer relief, is it a little more set? Do you get paid time off? Do you get to go home?
Yeah. 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 So once you get enough seniority, you're able to submit for like vacation uh, uh, you know during the sailing season. And then even through there you can really dictate your own schedule. So really, so if you wanted, if you had the time, if you wanted the whole month of August off, you could do it. If we had the, you know, if you had the seniority and obviously the timing of it, you could definitely do it. And really, the whole personnel crew that helps Lindsay Montero and Joe Kerr, they are wizards at what they do because they really they do it as far scheduling and just everything. And so really, hats off to you guys. Thank you for
You
you.
know, it takes a lot of people to keep a boat moving.
It does. It does. You know, on the boat and off the boat. You know, and seeing that too now. So I kind of get to see that from both sides of the spectrum. So
That's pretty unique.
yeah, yeah.
And some of those are listed on there, but from your experience, what does make a good sailor? Someone who's going to succeed and be happy out on the lakes.
Yeah. So definitely, like in the background here, one of my biggest things was uh, positivity. To be positive, to always look at the positive outcome of the things, and even if it is negative, like still have a positive outlook at it. Um, you know, definitely be ready to work. You know, it's not the easiest job, and it's not a job that's for everybody. But once you get into your routine and you kind of accept that it's a it's a lifestyle, not just a job, you'll be just fine. Really. Um, and then also like being a master in provision. You have to we make the same docks and do the same locks, but every time it's different. You know, you have to be able to keep your head on a swivel and to recognize things that that you might do it all the time, but it's going to be different. So so yes, definitely. Um, yeah. Oh yeah, and being a good like a good shipmate, be team player. You know, that's definitely you have to really um, be just work well with others, and play well with others, because we're all doing the same thing, and really like my shipmates, and I mean we all got each other's backs, and everyone out there has got your back, so it goes a long way.
It sounds like an amazing adventure.
It's an adventure, and it's a journey. So it's like it's just about everything, for sure, for sure.
Now, I understand you spend a lot of time away from home when you're working as a sailor. What are some ways that when you were sailing, you were able to maintain like a work-life balance? You have a picture of your beautiful family there, and you,
Yeah.
and how do you maintain that when you're out on the lake?
So it was the first couple of years it was hard because you were trying to fine tune certain things. But now, uh, man, I mean, like we just installed Starlink internet, well satellite Wi-Fi, so you could stay connected with loved ones at home pretty much all the time. I mean, once when I left the boat in May, I was having FaceTime conversations in the middle of Lake Superior. Like I was like, it was outstanding, and that really takes the edge off too. You know, it's nothing like to at
It's
the end
not
of the
like
day.
the let's say
Yeah,
it's not like the old days where you would get there was a phone in the port, there was a phone at the
yeah,
Sulaks, and everywhere else
no,
in
no,
between was radio silence.
no. Yeah, and like I said, it really, it just takes the edge off because it's like, you don't have to wait, at certain points of the lake to, call someone or, because once you hit Whitefish Point up on, Superior, that's it. You ain't getting it for another 12 hours, so you better hurry up, do what you got to do. But now it's completely different. Um, but having that having that is just so special. At the end of the day. So that was like a
Pretty
you
lucky
know
now.
Oh yeah. Oh,
Now you're mentioning internet reminds me of another question I meant to ask you is I know you can't leave the ship when you're working on it. You're on it for weeks or months at a time, but you're not working 24 hours a day. What kind of hobbies and things do people on board do to fill those downtime hours?
I mean, literally, I mean, you name it, you could probably do it. So I mean, we have Direct TV. We have all the NFL games if if you like that. We have gyms on every boat. There's a gym, treadmill, um, free weights. There's Smith machines. There's tons of workout equipment. If that's what you want to do. There's also a nice cooler of ice cream too. But no,
I
no,
think
no,
we know
no,
your
no, no,
weakness now,
seriously.
cookies and ice cream.
Yeah, yeah. In all seriousness too, like I mean, I'm a big gamer, so at the end of the day, once I got done with dinner and stuff like that, I could hop on the game and play some video games and stuff, and uh, so yeah, it really, I mean, if you're, it's just like being at home,
I was
pretty
about to
pretty
say
much.
it sounds like home
Really,
away from home.
it literally, it's just like being at home, Yeah, yeah.
So, if you've convinced anyone that they or someone they know would be a great merchant mariner, can you
Yeah.
tell us what you have to do to start out?
Yeah, so you need to uh, get a TWIC card. I believe that's with TSA. So what that TWIC card is, it pretty much grants you access to all of the restricted docks and things that we have like to the public. So you definitely need that. And then you also need your merchant mariner's credential. What that is, it's a little red book, passport size, but that's issued by the U.S. Coast Guard, and there's a process for that, and there's also physical that you'll have to take, and paperwork involved and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean that would pretty much be it. And then
No, so
once you got all those
you
things back,
you don't need any special classes, or you don't have to go to an academy. You don't. Do you need a lot of prior sea time, or somebody could just get those documents and
nope,
start?
nope, you can get those documents and start. Um, you know, when I say that, definitely, be ready to have an open mind. If you're coming into something, um, have an open mind and be ready to listen. Uh, but no, yeah, you could literally anyone could do it. You just have to want to do it, and be there for it. So
And I think you've convinced us all how wonderful the work is, and the sunrises and sunsets and the food. The food had my attention. I'm wondering though, because we've talked about this as a career. You
mhm.
decided as a young man that you wanted it as a career, and as a career, what kind of benefits do at least sailors with your company have? Do you get health insurance, training? What kind of benefits come with this career?
Yeah, so yeah, you get health benefits, you get dental, eye, vision, all that stuff comes in. Um, you know, on the unlicensed side, there's certain there's like you get your vacation pay. You get a 10% bonus, whatever you made for the year. You get a 10% bonus back. You get a $400 clothing allowance, included like it will in conjunction with that you get $250 Red Wing boot voucher, and that's annual, and you get that every year. And let me tell you, for the first time, like wearing like real leather boots, it was nice. It was it was nice, and you get that every year. I'm still shocked by it. It's not like yeah. Um, yeah, so yeah, there's definitely a lot of good perks and benefits into being out there for the time you have, and you're gonna make a pocket full of cash, and look, just be ready for that.
Well, and you are going to earn it though,
You are
because
gonna earn it. I mean,
it's
you're
going to
gonna
be
work for it.
cold. It's going to be
Yeah,
hot.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, you're gonna work for it, and yeah, I mean, like I said, I think I mean, I still have iron ore dust behind my ears, because really like,
It got
but
into you,
it's
huh?
rewarding. Yeah, oh yeah, hell yeah, yeah. But it's such a rewarding job, though. I mean, I say job, career. It's so rewarding, and literally everything that I have today, um, man, I couldn't, I really couldn't, thank like enough for everything that I have, because I set out to do what I wanted to do, and they stood behind me every step of the way, and you know, and even as far as like progression and things like that, we we will stand behind you. So if you have aspirations to be a captain, or to be a mate, or to do anything, I mean, we'll get you there. The only thing is that you have to want to do it. You have to want to, get there, and uh, show up to the occasion, and and do what you got to do. But
So, does Interlake help with like those training and education? You mentioned you went to the academy for that course to get your ABS. Did you have to do that with your own money, or
no,
is that part of supporting your career?
yep, nope, nope. I didn't have to. I didn't have to shovel out a dime for that. And like I said, it was a mutual thing, because they knew that I wanted it. They knew that you know like I said, they'll stand behind you every step of the way. I can't say that enough. So it's such a great company to be part of.
And is there anything that I neglected to ask you, or that you would really want our audience to know?
Yeah, yeah, for sure. So what really separates Interlake from a lot of the other companies and carriers? We're family owned, and we're family run, and we're and, and with that, we are a family. So when you come on, and when you know get to your first vessel, I mean, I definitely wish, I hope, want you to feel that, and you will feel that too. It's just such a great thing to be a part of, and with these and with it, like too. I mean, we're transcending. I mean, we're doing it. We're the trendsetters, and um, we're doing it big, and there's more to come, and there's more to come. So it's just like, man, just put your seatbelt on, because we're going. I mean, it's we're going. So yeah.
If I wasn't so close to retirement, and my current job was chief park ranger at the Sioux Locks, and if I didn't like it as much, I think I'd be giving you a call.
Hey,
It sounds
look,
fantastic.
and I mean, and look at and if you absolutely, and if you called my phone, you're not gonna talk to a robot. You're gonna, that's me on the other line, and so I definitely, I'm more than happy to help anyone to get to where they want to be. Even after the program, if you have any questions, you can always reach out, and we could talk personally, and I could dive into things more, or have special questions that you need. I'm here for you, and I do it. I do this for you.
And I presume people can get to you through the Interlake Steamship Company page
Yeah,
on the
yeah,
website.
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
There's an email up there. Yeah.
And we'll take questions in just a few minutes. If everyone who has questions, if you haven't already put one in the chat, go ahead and type them in the chat. And while we give you a minute or two to do that, I'm going to review the status of our visitor centers here in the Detroit district. The Lake Superior Maritime Visitor Center in Duluth, Minnesota is open every day of the week except Wednesdays. There is a cell phone tour available outside, and they have a virtual tour of the visitor center available online. Here in Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan, the Sioux Locks Visitor Center is closed for the season. We'll be opening on May 1st for the 2024 season. And I forgot to add it in my little notes there, but we will also be having that special open house that we have every year on the first day of shipping on March 25th. And we also have our exhibits online. And so you can check out our website for our exhibits and information sheets. And one more plug for next month. We can't all work for Interlake. There's some big lakes. There's room for more than one company. We're going to have a captain from Great Lakes Fleet, who is the captain of the GOT, which has the most powerful engines on the Great Lakes, joining us next month to talk about his career and what it's like to be the master of the most powerful vessel on the Great Lakes. And I will start running through our questions here.
Okay.
Someone asked, what are the various requirements for like school requirements, and wanted to know if you have to have maritime schooling. Do you want to just go ahead and...
Nope, you don't need any maritime schooling prior to working for Interlake. Really, just as long as you're 18 and have those credentials, you can.
And someone followed up and asked, would schooling be preferred over somebody who has not been to school? I presume they mean like a maritime.
No. I mean, like that comes down to you. I mean, when I'm looking at potential employment for guys, no, it doesn't have doesn't matter to me.
Okay.
Just as long as you're ready to work and ready to be there.
And then they were asking if the company helps cover those costs if people do want training, which you did cover. But if you want to go ahead and reassure people again.
Oh, I'm sorry. I think
someone else also asked if the company covers costs if you're going to have some training to advance.
Yeah. Yes. Absolutely.
And then someone's saying, do you like seeing the people welcoming you to the docks, or when you're passing through on a river? Do you like seeing the boat nerd fans out there?
I love every minute of it. Yes. I'm always going through Duluth, like the piers there, going through the Sioux, waving at the visitor center. Yeah, I love it. I love that. Like, it's like a party every time we go through. It's good. It's very cool.
Well, and I can say from experience being at our front desk, because a lot of the sailors get on and off their vessels at the Sioux Locks. It's a pretty standard practice. So a lot of times we will have sailors waiting in the visitor center because it's either warm or because it's air conditioned and there's comfortable seating. And from a relief OS, ordinary seaman, all the way up to a captain or chief engineer, all of you guys are rock stars in the visitor center and up in the platform.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And Jeff was asking, what does the Coast Guard physical require for that MMC?
So there's a whole list of certain requirements. I mean, I don't know them offhand, but I believe it kind of coincides with like the DOT regulations on what type of physical it is, or what kind of things that they may ask of you. But I could find out, and I could definitely get the answer. Yeah.
So Jeff, if you would like to follow up with Ron, you can find Ron on the website for Interlake. Mm-hmm. Pat was asking, if you have a 100-ton license, what position could you start in?
What position? So that's a 100. So you could do be an open water mate. We definitely encourage our mates to um, have the piloted things like that, but we could definitely get you an open water position. Then eventually we'll work to get you that pilot.
Okay, and Colton was asking, what are your thoughts on the Seafarers International Union for unlicensed doing an unlicensed apprenticeship program? And is
This
that better or worse than going directly as an OS?
this the C I think really, I mean, if you really, I mean,
Or is starting out as an OS almost like an apprenticeship?
yeah, I mean, you could start out, I mean, and still get like the same type gig, um, but yeah, I mean, yeah, that's a pretty good question. I would say just go for the OS there. I mean, really, because if you're gonna do it, hey, just might as well just dive in, for sure.
And the next question from JRP 1191 is probably one that's going to require him to do a little follow up with you, but he's asking if Interlake Steamship would ever consider being a presenter at the Rochester Institute of Technology at their university wide career fair.
Yeah, 100%. Absolutely, I'll be there personally, for
And
sure, for
then
sure.
Sheila was a little worried about the internet access, perhaps, and she was asking, does each ship have their own individual Starlink, or do they share?
No, each ship has their own individual like server and satellite and all that stuff. So yeah,
So
no,
if you're there on the Mark W. Barker in the middle of your gaming, you don't have to worry about all of a sudden everybody on the old Misabi Minor going online and messing up your game.
no. Don't have to worry about that. Not one bit. So it'll be just fine, for sure,
And
for
then
sure.
Jeff asked, does Interlake help cover travel from home to the ship and vice versa? He says it's
Oh
a
yeah,
long way
yeah,
from California to the Great Lakes.
yeah. No, everything, anything involving travel is covered to and from the ship. Um, you know, we work with travel agent. You really at the end of the day, you tell them when, where, what time, what boat you're going to be on, and it's all direct billed. So um, you
So
don't have
taking a position with Interlake doesn't mean you have to live in Sault Ste. Marie, Duluth, or
no
Detroit.
you can live anywhere in the country, anywhere in the country. Which is super duper nice because it doesn't limit you to have to be in one state. So
And if you have family, you don't have to displace them from your home and their
no
jobs and
no
schools.
no. Wherever you are, we'll get you to the boat. And and even that slice of pizza you get from the airport, that's all covered. That's covered. But really, I mean, save that receipt.
And when does the season start back up? Justin was asking that.
So so that um, so a lot of the, I mean, it all depends on, I guess, what kind of maintenance they're doing on the boats. But typically end of March. So like usually like March, like I remember leaving the dock around like March 22nd.
Trying to
After
be
like
that first ship at the locks,
yeah,
huh?
actually I was at a time on the when I was on the court. I was the first ship. Dude. I have the hat. I should have like showed the hat. I have it.
And I'll
But
tell the people who may not know, the first ship that comes to the Sioux Locks every year, the Visitor Center Association, who helps pay for us to do these programs, also provides every member of the crew with a hat that says first ship and the year.
yeah, and
Now,
then do you also do the plaques too still?
yes, they
Because I
do
have the plaque. Okay.
they
Yeah,
also do the plaque.
I have
And
the plaque.
I could, since I've worked at the Sioux, we've had the court there twice. Once was in the middle of the night, and once was during the day. Were you on when it was
I,
during the day?
I was during the day. Yep,
That was the
during the day.
best one. And
So
I'm just gonna say that was the best one because the ship arrived early. And so I get to accompany the delegation that goes to greet the first ship. And I
uh,
we got invited on board. And not only did we get invited on board, Captain Sipper, who is retired
yeah.
since I managed to kind of slip it to him that I love cookies. I don't even know how it came out, and he gave me a bag of cookies
Oh
as we
yeah.
were
Oh yeah.
leaving the
Okay.
ship.
Oh yeah.
So I
Oh
have
yeah.
firsthand experience of the excellent baked goods.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, I think I was there for that for sure. I think I was there because I it was that was 2017, so that was like my first year as a Navy. So yeah,
Very cool, and you got the hat.
yeah, yeah. I want to get another one, but I don't know.
Well, I don't
Hey,
think you're gonna get one as
in the future.
in the job you're in now.
Right.
Unless you convince your bosses that you need a little refresher on what it's like to be on board and
Right.
get a trip.
Exactly. Exactly. You
And
should
Sheila, sorry, go
oh,
ahead.
oh, sorry. No, I was just saying you should maybe get a hat for like the first uh, company that goes to Engineers Day. You should have something like you know I'll win that every year. I'll camp out for days. And,
It is a very fun day at the Sulaks. Sheila is asking, are you allowed off ship in ports if you're going to be there for more than 24 hours? Because we all
yeah,
have this idea of all the sailors
yeah,
going to the bar and getting drunk. And what is it
yeah,
like if you're in port for a long time?
yeah. So pretty much we have well, we don't condone any of that like drinking or stuff like that. But once you get to the dock, I mean you're free to go as long as you don't have any obligations or working in between a watch or something like that. Like you're free to go. We have a posted time that we usually post. Um, and just as long as you're back before that posted time, you're good.
So if you
But
really do want to order a pizza into the
yeah,
ship, there's an opportunity
oh
for you to go and get some fresh pizza.
yeah, 100%. I've yeah, I mean up in Duluth, like getting there might be a Jets up there. I remember getting Jets somewhere. I think maybe Marquette is a Jets. Yeah, oh yeah. So yeah, go up to Walmart, get your little goodies, and for sure.
Someone is telling us, Eric is telling us, Pizza Lucy is great in
Oh,
Duluth.
Pizza Luce. Oh
Oh,
yeah.
Luce.
Oh
Okay.
yeah. Oh yeah. That's some good stuff right there too.
And Jeff is asking what advice you could give somebody on how to pack if they're reporting for
Mm.
their first trip on one of these ships. What do you need to bring, and what should you just go ahead and leave home from your own experience?
Yeah, so like I said before, like definitely pack like you're going to be working at a construction site. So some good pair of boots. You'll be walking a lot, so if you need some extra insoles or whatever, definitely pack those. If it's the cold season, definitely pack layers. Layers is the key out there. Um, Also, some like rinsing boots, so like either muck boots or things like that. You will be working with water, and I personally don't like wet socks, so definitely definitely pack some muck boots. And really, I mean, I would bring bring your laptop. You could definitely I used to bring my Xbox all the time and things like that. But yeah, I mean, really, whatever you would really bring on like a little mini vacation without being a vacation should be good.
Okay.
Yeah.
And one thing we didn't really talk about, and I'm sorry I didn't include this in the questions. What are the accommodations like? We heard all about the food. Where do you sleep?
Oh,
What's that
oh,
like?
oh yeah. So the accommodations are, I mean, outstanding. I mean, you know, the ABs, ABs get their own room. I believe there's maybe one or two boats where OSs have to share a room. But man, you get your own. You get your own bed. You get a nice recliner. You get a nice, get your own TV, your own bathroom, uh, your own I mean, it's like a little apartment. Your own desk. Uh, it's yeah,
Sounds
in
a
the
lot
room.
nicer than the old Valley Camp days where you had two bunk beds and a sink and a toilet down the
Right.
hall.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No. 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 We've come a long way. We've come a long way from that. But because and even we're always renovating and doing things to better suit either particular rooms or things like that. Habitat for Humanity comes out and they do their thing over the winter and do some remodeling or what have you. But yeah, so we definitely uh, take pride and do the upkeep on all the rooms for sure, for sure.
Now, while you were answering that, we got another shout out for food from Astrid, and
Oh
she is saying mac and cheese pizza from Bulldogs in Duluth! Exclamation mark.
yes, yes, 100%. That was my that's my wife, by the way. I think she's watching. So yeah, yeah, Bulldogs all the way for
Now,
sure.
Colton had a question here. He said he's in the process of getting his MMC, and he's wondering, is there anything like certain knots or starting knowledge I should get working on beforehand?
Yeah, yeah. Knots. Don't tire yourself up about the knots.
That was an
I mean,
excellent pun.
yeah, I mean, that wasn't intended, but it just came. But so really, if you know, definitely half hitch is something that we use a lot. Definitely bowling on a bike is something that we'll use a lot. Um, kind of generalize your knots. I mean, they don't have to be specific besides those ones that I listed, but um, any type of like prep. No, really just be ready. Be ready to to work and like I said before, have an open mind, man. Like have an open mind to it, and just have a positive vibe. I mean, you're gonna you'll be good. You'll be just fine for sure.
And Jeff had a question. He's wondering if a passport's required because you sail close to Canada and sometimes in Canadian waters.
So no, a passport isn't required. We don't need that. So we're all set as long as you got your MMC, you're good to go. Oh, and your twit card too. So let me
Yep.
not forget to mention that. So yeah, yeah. So no passport required.
And I think this one will be our last question. Oh, another food recommendation: Northern Waters Smokehouse in Duluth. Sheila's
Ooh.
letting you know about that one.
Oh, okay. I'll have to put
Add
that in
it
the
to
notes
your
because
list if you're at an event in Duluth.
yeah. I mean, literally, you should see like the whole like pages that we have of like places that I'm telling you, it's a whole thing. But yeah, I'll have to check that out. Well, thank you for that. Thank you for that recommendation.
And just best advice for anybody thinking about this as a career.
You know, I, let let's do it. Really, because my story, I like I said, I didn't know what I wanted to do, didn't know where I wanted to go, but I really began to, I started to love what I do. I started to love sailing. I started to love, you know, living on a boat. Started to love. I love it. I love it. I love it. And the big thing is you have to do what you love. Because if you don't love it, then don't do it. But um, but yeah, I mean that's just be ready. Be ready for it, and it'll be good.
I was gonna kind of interject my takeaway from what you've been telling us about. is probably you just need to be prepared for an adventure.
Be ready at all time at all times. At all times. Be ready. But
Because anything
look,
can happen.
anything could happen, and you're gonna have, and I guarantee you're gonna have a bunch of funny stories. You're gonna have you're gonna have so many sea stories when when you're said and done. I mean, I wish I had extra time to tell you more sea stories. I have tons. But yeah, just yeah. I mean, just like I said, positivity and just and provision. You'll be good. So
Okay. And I want to thank you for spending so much time with us. This has run a little longer, but we had a lot
yeah,
of really interested people and some interesting questions.
yeah.
And I could listen to your stories all day. And
Look,
and and I've
I'll
already
tell them.
heard some of them.
I
And I
will
was
tell them all day. So if anyone wants a sea story, I'm more than happy for sure.
And before everybody's completely gone, I'm going to put this final slide up. We are recording this. It will be posted. You see the link to our YouTube channel there in the lower right part of the page. We have the pages for our associations and for the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers Detroit District, which is who the park rangers work for. And of course, in Duluth, there are vessel schedules, but they're not really active right now. Shipping is in layup right now. The locks are closed, so that just bookmark that duluthforecast.org for once we start seeing some boats moving again at the end of March. You can track what's happening in the harbor of Duluth. And I want to thank everyone who joined us today. And I want to thank Ron and Interlake Steamship and Interlake Maritime Services for sharing you with us to share these stories and opportunities for anyone who wants to go and get their own sea stories.
Hey, thank you. I'm happy to do it, and I'm ready if you guys are. So we'll make it happen.
And just go to the Interlake Maritime Services website, and that will get you more information. It'll get you career opportunities, and you can get in touch with Ron if you have some very specific questions about working for Interlake.
Oh yeah. Thank you.
Bye, Ron.
All right, bye bye. We'll see you later. Thanks.
Thank you.
Bye bye.